Welcome back everyone to the channel. We're back again today with Subway Builder. And this may not look like New York like our normal series. With the recent update, they've added some British cities such as Liverpool, Manchester, Birmingham, London, and there's one more I forget the name of. So today we're going to be checking out London. And London is actually a pretty big size. Now, if I zoom out here, you can see like London City, London Heathrow, Gatwick, Luton, all that. But this map is absolutely massive. Now, I did do a live stream looking at this map, and I've learned heavy metro is not the way to start. Too expensive, not enough people to make it profitable. I ran those two lines that I did for a week in game time and didn't turn a profit at all. So I think we're gonna start out with light metro, and I've eyed up the route I would like to do. I'd like to start down here, make my way up this road, past Buckingham Palace here as a stop at Trafalgar Square, come through here, up past this church, I think it is, I'm not sure, keep coming down, past the Tower of London, keep coming through, and end up here for our first line. And like I said, we're going to be doing light metro, and this first line is all going to be underground. So before we start building, let's take a look at some demand stats. So we have residents down here by our terminus, none up here around Buckingham or in this area, going to be mainly workers, some residents, and down, and then past the Tower of London, we're going to run into a lot of residents. Now, workers-wise, we're going to hit big areas right here and a little bit down here. If we click this, we can see where a lot of the workers are coming from. And there's high demand. We're going to have around 9,000 commuters during the day. Well, arriving. And their departure times are 6 a.m. to about 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. to about 6 p.m. Now, if we come back to residents, come out of here, residents, say we click this, it'll show us where these guys work, which we're not going to hit that right now, so we're not going to worry about it. So, let's get building. So, light metro. Now, light metro, I feel like I should be able to run this along the street, because to me, I know I've said before, that's what light metro is, basically like a light rail that runs along the street. So we'll get our stops in here for our first line. Now, I think I'm going to call this the Buckingham Line. Just because that's basic. I don't want to say it's the big name stop on this line, because the Tower of London could also be the big name of it, but I think since this goes right past Buckingham, that's an appropriate name. And I really don't know much about London. I've never been. So, if there's anything I get wrong or anything like that, feel free to let me know. It is on my list of places to get to at some point. So, hopefully I'll get there in the near future. So, now we'll come up on the next stop. will be right here. Come around. We'll have a stop at the back of the palace. And then just follow this road all the way down to this park. Alright, so now that's in. We'll go ahead and get our tracks in. Now, I wish that in this map, the direction of travel would be reversed, because that would be realistic to British trains and transit. They're going to be driving on the left-hand side, not the right-hand side, like here in the States. So that's just one thing I wish they could have added. But I know they can't. They can't do everything. So we're going, hopefully this line will, if there's tourists in this game, will capture any tourists. So we'll look out for that. And I know this building here coming up, I have to drop down. It's -10. And then come back up to -4. And it's too steep. Of course it is. Have you go there, and you... And it's just a little... So... Oh, wrong button. So, we're gonna have to delete this. Put it a little bit further that way. Just like that. Now, as an American, I'm quite interested in how the UK does their transport systems. Now, I know they have what's called National Rail, and I know that's like the Great Western, Great Northern, London Midland, London Northeastern, Great Southern, and all that, ScotRail, Intercity. Like, I understand that's all that, but so if it's on National Rail, does it matter what website you buy the ticket through? Because like here in the US, like I can't buy a Brightline ticket through Amtrak and vice versa. And same thing, like I can't buy a SEPTA ticket off of Amtrak, and I can't buy an Amtrak ticket off of SEPTA's website. So the question becomes, say you want to go from Penzance on the Great Western to Dover. Now, would you automatically, with National Rail, would that ticket, would it just be all on the Great Western and through the Great Western, and you could transfer to any train that goes there, or how would that work? Because like I said, here in the US, we're very strict about ticketing. Like, if you have a ticket to get on a train that goes from Chicago to New York, you only have one option. Whereas, say you want to go from Trenton, New Jersey to New York City, you have two options. You can take New Jersey Rail or Amtrak, but like I said, you can't I can't buy each other's tickets on each other's website. They're completely separate. So that's just a thought I had, and if anyone could answer that who lives over there, that would be great. Now, one thing with this line that I'm hoping is that we're going to have enough people needing to go back and forth or through this area that it will make some sort of money. So, we're under $1 billion, which is insane considering how much was built. That's how much cheaper light metro is. So we'll go ahead and build those blueprints. And we'll get our first line set up. This will be the purple line. We'll call it the Buckingham. Oh, spelled it wrong. Buckingham. Ah, come on. Having a stroke over here. I don't think I spelled that right. Oh no, it looks like I did. Okay, so the Buckingham Line. And I'm thinking we'll do the square. And it'll be pink or purple, and it is light metro, so we'll create the route. And now we do the long, daunting task of adding all of the stations. Now, it'll be interesting to see how this line performs, obviously. And we'll let it run a little bit and start looking at other areas that have a route. Make sure it's not doing anything dumb there. We'll confirm those changes. We will buy 50. Let's see, we could do something like that just to start and see how it runs. Now, the only issue doing it how I did do it is come time to let me turn off these population movements. Is it's a double track, so this will never be able, well, I shouldn't say never, but it will most likely never get an express track. Now, if I'm correct, I don't think London has express trains on the tube. I could be wrong about that. So, but we'll see how this performs. Obviously, it's going to lose money at first. But we are making some money. So we'll let this go, see how it performs. Now, at some point, I will be doing heavy metro. Like, for the stops here at Heathrow that come all the way into the city, that's going to be heavy metro. Anything that's going out far is going to be heavy metro. Now, I would like to get some up to London City. Now, I do see I could cheat this and go where there is a rail line already existing. But not, so like I could bring it and follow, well, not here, but come next to, follow this road all the way out to London City. Now, just curious, what are the stats over here for workers? Not many, but there are a lot of residents. As you can see as I zoom out here, massive map. High density in the middle. So we'll be working on connecting all these areas. So now if we come down here, we can see we had about $1 million in profit. Broke even most of the day. And now now we're coming into the second rush hour, and we'll see how much we make there. I think I'm gonna lower this to 275. Now that is gonna eat into our profits, but hopefully we get more riders. So we almost hit the $10 million mark, which if we do, that means we can take this bond, but I'm not interested in taking it right now. Now my other idea was to have another stop that comes across here. We'll have a line that comes down, follows these roads down and through this bottom part, the southern part of downtown. We'll have a lot of residents, plus connecting it in with this line. And we don't have a lot of workers except for up in this region, so we would be hitting a couple of good spots. Now, instead of going straight across, I could turn it and have another station over here. But those are kind of far walk for a connection. So I'm thinking, or even if I do it that way, I would have straight roads to follow all the way up. Up further, and there's a lot of room for expansion north. But if I'm going to do that, it would be heavy metro. Whereas the ones I'm doing now are just light metro. So we'll think about that. Because ideally, the further these go out, heavy metro would be ideal. But maybe in this series we try to do all light metro and just see how it goes. So I think I want to get on with either expanding the Buckingham Line or maybe create a new line here called the Tower Line that goes up here, stops up here by the tower. The only thing is here at Tower Bridge, how deep is... Okay, so I only have to worry about that. So I could basically run around, which is fine. So we can turn this off. So I guess we'll start working on this. So this station is going to have to be -8. So then this will come out, or I'll figure it out then. Now you can come back. Oh, you'll have to go to -5 because you have to. This is -4, which means we have to be under it. Have a stop there. Have a stop there. Now, coming down here, question becomes, which way do I want to go? So, we do have a lot that we could expand with down here. Or we could come down and down this way. I think I'm gonna come down and out this way, actually. So we'll get started on that. That comes down. You'll make a turn at that circle. Come down. Like I said, I really don't know much about London, so I can't really speak to where these where these stations are in real life and what's around them. I don't know if it's businesses, homes, industrial areas. Like, obviously, like, this is gonna be homes. I don't know if this is commercial or industrial. So now we'll come down, make a stop here. And then here is where we could have two lines separate, possibly. And what I'm thinking maybe is this stretch will share a line, and then here we'll have two separate lines. So we'll just stop here at Hart Lane. Or instead of having two lines follow this, I could have a line that comes down like this, like that, and this line can keep going. But I'm not going to worry about it right now. It's not the most important thing. So we'll get to building our track in between our stations. Hopefully I'm not going to have a brain aneurysm doing it. Come around. Boo, what is with that? I know I've made some janky pieces of track in these series, but nothing like that. That was horrendous. Now, it is interesting with how old London is. So London actually dates back to the Roman times, and I believe before the Roman times. So when you see a lot of these narrow streets, they were never made for having vehicles. They were actually meant for horse-drawn carts or pedestrians. So if anyone has been to Philadelphia on some of the old cobble streets, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it is quite interesting how in Europe they have transformed some of the cities to be able to handle vehicle traffic. Obviously with some of these main artery roads, like these thick ones, and then you have your feeder roads into them. But I think it's just interesting how we, in the U.S., we think cities are always going to be big. They're going to be, they're going to be big. They're going to be opulent. They're going to be, they're going to be car friendly. But then when you get to Europe, I have been to Europe, and it definitely is a different game when you get into towns, because they are so old and don't have that history of having vehicles. So that is just one thing that's interesting to me about Europe. Now, any Europeans who have a different opinion, love to hear it. What you guys think of American cities. Like, I know where I live, and the closest city I live to, it's not too terribly big, but it's just interesting how even a smaller city has streets like a massive city like New York City or Philadelphia or Boston. And Boston really is, like, Boston, Philadelphia, and New York do have areas where, like, it feels very European, but they also have those signature massive roads. But I digress. Anyway, we're at $623 million for this, so we'll go ahead and build that. And we'll create a new line. This one will be red, and it'll be called the Tower Line. So we'll go ahead, put that on Light Metro, create, edit route, and we'll go ahead and mark all of these. And another thing, now that I'm thinking about it, with in Europe, is the network of transportation is way better than here in the States. Now, there are places like the megalopolis here in the U.S., which, if you don't know what that is, that's Boston all the way down to Washington, D.C. Maybe some people consider Richmond, Virginia in there. But it's basically this area of just non-stop urban area. So in that area we have a lot of connectivity. So we have Amtrak. What else do we have? We have Amtrak. There's Mark. There's SEPTA. There's there's Long Island Railroad. There's New Jersey Transit. There's what else do we have up there? We have Metro North. I already said New Jersey Transit. We have MART. We have MART. MARC is Maryland. MART is Massachusetts, or the MBAT, whatever it's called up there. But yeah, all these train lines are very interconnected. So, like for me, if I have to go to New York, a lot of times I'll take the Amtrak. The Amtrak will cost me $10 to New York, $10 back. So it's cheap. Whereas driving, I'm gonna spend almost $100 in gas. I'm gonna spend almost $100 in tolls. I'm gonna spend over $100 in parking. So I wish the whole U.S. would be better interconnected. Cause like in Europe, you guys can go. Say if you live in London, you guys have the Eurostar where you can go from London to Brussels to Paris to Amsterdam, all of that, which is really nice. And then once you get to those spots, you can go anywhere in Europe. You could go to Germany, you could go to Spain, Portugal, Italy, Switzerland, Austria, Poland. And like here in the U.S., we have the only services for trains we have that go out of country are Amtrak services. So you could take a train from New York City into Montreal, Canada. You could take a service from Seattle to Vancouver, but that's all the interconnectedness we have, and our borders are not as open, and so that causes issues with that as well. So our highest hour was 6 p.m. with $1 million profit, but our total revenue was a lot higher, so that's good to see. Now, hopefully, as we keep adding, we'll get more and more. Now, we did just add that new line at the end of the day, so we'll have to give it some time to grow. So we'll let this run a little bit, and we can spot out some new areas for lines. Like I said, there's a possibility of a line coming down here, and possibly, instead of coming this way, come down, meet up with this line. But I don't know that I want to do that. I feel more inclined to take it out this way and have a line that comes through all this up here and come down and connect for this one station, then branch out. So we'll have to take a look at this, but I'm going to let this run for a little bit and just see what kind of money we're going to be getting. So 7 a.m. again, 3.5 million total revenue. So we'll see how far we get along with this. Maybe adding more lines will help. We do have some overcrowding on the tower line, it looks like. I don't know that we have any on... Oh no, we do have some on the Buckingham Line. So maybe we'll have to add a train or double them. Now, let's just see. If I come here... Trains... Yeah, we're having a lot that are getting overcrowded. So if I go to 4... Now... We'll see how that works out. And we'll see what I can get. I'm going to see if on this red line. On the tower line. Wow, we still have capacity issues. Well, I don't have enough, so I could buy more. So, 50 buy. Upgrade you to that. Now, the only thing with capacity issue is I could add more trains, but the issue is the more I add, the more clumped together they're going to be traveling. So as you can see, they're pretty far spread out. So I do have room that I could add more. But, see, I keep seeing that and it just... I guess we will add more. Give it 2 more on each. Or, no, you don't need to be that high. Yeah, well, in high demand, we'll go up with more, and we'll leave this, and we'll see how that goes. Now, one thing I will say about London, or European cities in general, is I love the look of the organic growth, but at the same time, when trying to plan a transportation network on it, it's a nightmare. And the only reason I say that is partially because trying to navigate these smaller streets, trying to build rail lines, metro lines, it's a lot harder. Now, you can kind of see where old London was. So this ring here, if I had to take a guess, was old London at one point. So this is where probably the Romans had a city, the Vikings, when they were in England, were probably had a city and whatnot, and then it just grew out from there. Now, I know in Paris, cities like Paris, you can really tell where the old city was by the streets. But I'm thinking this is probably right in here is where some of the oldest parts of London are. And that would make sense, especially because like Tower of London would have been in the old city. I believe the Globe, Shakespeare's Globe, is in here as well. And then the palace out here, you know, most of your royals are going to live outside the city anyway, so that would have made sense for the time. And then if you go out way further, you know, you have Hampton Roads. I don't know if that's on this map. I know it's out here somewhere. Not exactly sure where it is. I just know it's out here. But yeah. Very interesting. So, now we'll come in and check our profits. Now, we did make money there. Lost money some of the day. Now we're coming back into rush hour, so we should make some sort of cash. So we are making cash. Now, another thing I could do is I could up the price again. That'll help us with cash flow. Now, just to see where we could expand these. Like I said, this could expand out. Don't have many people commuting in this area, which is fine. And I'm guessing it's because we don't have any lines to where they work. Yeah. Not really. So, the more we do with this, the better interconnectivity we'll have. So if I continue this line up, we're gonna hit some workers. Now the question becomes, obviously I'm gonna have to make tight turns here, but there's really no residents here. It's gonna all be workers. So all the residents down here, if they work up here, we're gonna hit a lot of them when we come up through, and then we can either keep following this road here, which isn't a bad idea, but I feel if we follow this road and then travel north, there's not a lot of workers, but there's a lot of residents. So you're getting all these residents, and you're going to be bringing them into the part of where all the jobs are. So obviously here we have a lot of jobs. So when we expand out, the more lines we have in Center City London, I feel the better we're going to be doing. So I'm going to end this episode off here, and next episode we're going to look at expanding the tower line out. Maybe splitting it off. I'm not sure yet. And then possibly getting another new line that possibly comes across the top here for more lateral movement. So, if you're liking content and you want to see more of London, please comment, like, and subscribe. I'm going to try and get these videos out along with my New York videos. So stay tuned for that. And let me know if you want to see any other games that you find interesting. And I will see you in the next video.